Today I have a ultra lightweight and high-end commuter bike. This bike has gained a lot of traction on YouTube. A lot of guys have reviewed it. This is the Model X from Carbo and has been termed the classy commuter. Now this thing is loaded with high-end gear, including the carbon fiber frame that weighs less than 30 pounds. If you're looking for agility and power, stick around because the Model X has got a lot to offer. The Model X has 5 pedal assist levels, with level 0 as the first of 5. And at that level, you got 0 throttle. But I want to set it here because this is such a light e-bike that you pretty much can use this as just a regular bike. This only has 1 gear, the carbon belt drive system. I like this because it's maintenance free for like thousands of miles and there's no grease. And so if you do use this as a commuter, you don't have to worry about getting grease on your pants. That being said, it is a little bit tricky off the line. It feels like you're in 3rd or 4th gear in a bike with 7 speeds. But once you do get going, it feels just like a non-electric bike. Casually pedaling on a flat road, that is not bad at all. I mean, it only weighs like 30 pounds, which is what most non-electric bikes weigh. Now let me run you through all the different speed modes. And then on Eco, that tops out at 12. Tour is 13. Sport is 14. And then on Turbo, pedaling at my normal cadence, it bounces back and forth between 14 and 15. The X has both a speed and a torque sensor, so the faster you pedal and the more power you put in the cranks, the faster you go. And that's 20 miles an hour. And I've really got to increase my cadence to hit that. It's getting to the point where it feels a little unstable because I'm pedaling so fast. That's one thing I don't like about single belt drive systems is that it's hard to squeeze out all the juice with my regular cadence. But there is a fix for that with the thumb throttle that gives you full power on every level except 0. And that tops out at 19 miles an hour. The Model X is one of the poppiest small bikes I've tried, with a lightweight carbon fiber frame that only weighs 29 pounds, a 350 watt motor, and a high-end torque sensor. The power hits fast and hard. I'm gonna set this to turbo, pedal assist first, off the line, here we go. Woo! That power comes on with about 1 inch of movement, and it hits actually pretty good. There's 15. That was 0 to 15 in less than a block. And now with throttle, ooh, pretty poppy as well. It actually got a lot of power for how small and lightweight this frame is. The throttle's also pretty fast. It took me 3/4 of a block to hit 15 miles per hour. Now let me show you how reactive the motor is. With something this expensive, you would have a very reactive motor, at least I would assume anyways. So let me test that out. Going 12 miles an hour pedaling. If I stop pedaling, power cuts right out if I re-engage. There's a slight delay there. How fast the power comes on all depends on how much pressure you put on the pedals. Now with the throttle, there's about a 1/2 inch of play before the power comes on. And when it does, it's a little jerky. It's more of a sporty throttle than I would have thought. Going 14, 15 miles an hour if I release it. Power cuts off right away if I re-engage. About a 1/2 second delay before it comes back on. For going as fast as I was okay with a 1/2 second delay. That's typically what I see with other brands. I couldn't find a hill rating for the Model X, but I did just move to a new area and I found this very steep hill over a 26% grade. I don't think I've ever gotten anything above 25%, so I figured I might as well take this very small bike up a very steep hill. I will be very impressed if it makes it up this hill. This is quite steep, above 50% grade. I've got it on turbo, I've got a full charge on the bike, and it starts to climb. Very short, but very steep. There's some good resistance, but I think it's gonna make it. It's gonna make it. Barely. Down to 5. Now there's 6, 7. Up over the top. So technically, it made it up. I was putting in a lot of efforts. Come on. Come on. But I got to the top. Honestly, something like this is not built, not made to climb something that steep, but I was impressed that it did get me to the top. If you want the bike to do all the work when you climb, I think you'd have to tackle something about a 1/2 as steep as I did. The Model X has got some very nice, high quality, high-end Tektro hydraulic disc brakes. You've got more stopping power than you'll ever need. Right side controls the rear, left side the front. Light braking. Oh, just nice and smooth. No pulsating, no grinding. They sound great. Hard braking, here we go. Woo, yeah, just quick and ferocious. One of the reasons why the Model X has such a sleek and lightweight frame is because the battery is in the seat post. Taking it out and comparing it with the bike, I would say that the battery actually weighs more than the rest of the bike. But anyways, there's a USB port on the back end here so you can charge up your phone. In the front is the charge port, which takes 3.5 hours to recharge. And the battery is a 36 volt, 7 amp hour lithium ion battery. It is fully charged, so let me show you how far I can go when topping the bike out. Okay, so that wraps up the range test. My app recorded 11.76 miles with 275 feet of elevation gain. My average speed was 19 miles per hour, and I did have a bunch of stop and go. Now, Carbo says that you can get this up to 40 miles. For the range test specs on their website, they said that they had a 150-pound rider averaging 15 miles per hour. I'm a 190-pound rider averaging 19, so 12 miles is still low, but not bad. Well, first off, guys, you do have a multi-tool that comes with it. They got this tail light that you add just underneath the saddle. It's actually a nice filling light. There's a power button in the middle. Once you hit it, then you can hit it again to scroll through different options. Now, the cool thing with the frame, other than how lightweight it is it has a 5-year warranty on it. They say it has a 3-step foldable sort of deal. First step is lowering the saddle. I think it's more than 3 because, you know, the pedals also fold in. And then I like to lower the handlebars. Step 2 is this part, where the handlebars come down next to the frame. And then the frame folds right in the middle. And then it's got a cool magnet at the very back end, so it holds it all together in one solid piece. The last couple things I'll mention as far as look and design is it does have 2 fenders, and then you have a rear rack. One of the cool things about this is how far the seat and the handlebars adjust. And there is a minimum length on the seat. If you lower it down too much, it'll hit the ground. As most of you guys know, I'm 5'11", so this is the posture that you have when everything's lowered down to the lowest level. And then putting everything to the highest level, there's the max level. And I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get on this. this is way, way high. I can barely reach the pedals when they're all the way down. And there's your riding stance when everything's high. Moving on to balance, typically not the best for these types of bikes. They're very lightweight, and so even a small bump seems to kind of rattle you and shake you a little bit. So it's a little bit tricky to ride without any hands. Also, all of the weight is in the rear of the bike. And so if you're a smaller rider and you have this set down very low, most of the weight is lower down to the ground, which increases stability and balance. Rather than if you're a tall rider, you have to move this seat up, the weight shifts further up and therefore affects balance. So the balance is affected a little bit depending on the rider's size. Moving into the cockpit, you have T-shaped style handlebars. You have a quick release lever here, so you can rotate those. So you can adjust the brakes where you want the brake levers to be. You actually have a pretty nice wide stance for the weight and the size of the bike. But these types of bikes just offer a different riding style. It's just more hands-on and you feel the ride more. And one of the things that I like to do on these bikes is ripping around corners fast and hard. The nice thing about this is that I'm lower to the ground, and so if I do start to slip out, I can easily put my foot down. I also like the turning radius. I was on this 5-foot wide trail and I was able to do a full 360. Moving on to the grips, they do lock to the handlebars. They're very nice feeling and padded. Coming back to the saddle, it is a little bit too hard for my taste, but it is leather and very nice feeling. And then moving down, you have Swalby Big Apple tires. They didn't add any suspension because again, that would add more weight. But again, with those nice tires, it does take care of these smaller bumps like sidewalk lines or rough road. It just handles that type of terrain very nice. Anything bigger than a 1/2 inch, I would avoid. It does shake and rattle you pretty good. Moving on to the LCD screen, up top is the power button. Then the M button here, that just switches through the different readouts. Up and down arrows to change the pedal assist levels. If you hold down the top button, that turns on the headlight. And if you hold down the bottom arrow, that is the walk assist mode. The Model X is waterproof, has a 2-year warranty, and free shipping in the lower 48. So here's everything that I liked and didn't like about the Model X. First off, with the things I didn't like, I thought the saddle was a little bit too hard. I wish there was some type of front fork suspension. And then the last thing is the range. For something in this price range, I would have liked to have seen 15 to 20 miles. Now here's other things that I did like. I like the high-end Tektro hydraulic disc brakes. I like how small it folds up. Then of course, just how lightweight this is. Only 29 pounds. And that's it. That is the Carbo Model X. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. You found it helpful. I do appreciate you guys hopping on here and checking out my content, and have a good day.